Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the 22 books I would like to read in 2022. So these 22 books are all books that I feel I should have already read, and I am not sure why I haven't yet. Most of these I was either highly anticipating, or when I heard about them I was like, I have to read that. Or they're books that like everyone has read and it's like, girl, what do you mean you haven't read that? So we're gonna talk about this and we're gonna see in a year if I've read them. We'll see. So kicking it off, we have Vicious by V.E. Schwab. For years and years and years, this was on my wish list, and it was one that I was just so drawn to long before I ever read a Victoria Schwab book. I actually read my first one in 2021 in Addie LaRue, but this was one that I've always felt called to, and when I finally picked it up, I never read it. So I'm really hoping that I get to it this year and enjoy it. It is about two partners who are studying, what are they studying? Like superhero, like how people can acquire superhuman abilities through near-death experiences. And we're following how they're no longer partners and now they're like mortal enemies and how that happened. And I've always just heard good things, and it's always just been one I've been so called to. So I'm really hoping to get to this year. A Court of Wings and Ruin. So this, I read the first two years ago, and it took me a while to read each of them, I will admit, but I loved them. I really did. I never expected to because it's really not my thing, but I enjoyed the hell out of them. I even bought the UK paperback because I wanted it in paperback, and when it first came out, because all my other ones were in paperback. I've now since gotten rid of those, but I still own this. I want to read this. I don't know if I will continue it past this book, but I do just want to read this one. I think I need to at least finish the original trilogy because obviously the later books were not expected. So we'll see how I feel after reading this, if I want to continue, but I do want to at least read this one. This is a case of, girl, why have you not read this? This is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I bought this years and years and years ago, like when I first started watching BookTube, and I just never picked it up. And there's a part of me that feels like I should just get rid of this and move on because I feel like it might have just had its time and I won't enjoy it now. But there's also a part of me that refuses to let it go without at least trying. So I'm hoping to get to this year, form an opinion, and then either continue with the series or just move on. This is just a case of this being in so many of my TBRs last year that I'm just like, girl, you need to read this. This is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Ever since I got this edition, I have wanted to read this book. This was one of my first children classics. It might have been my first one, and I've just always been really drawn to this. It's always been a classic that I think I was really going to like. It's a beautiful book, and I just want to buckle down and read it. This next one is just a case of loving the first book I read from the author, so I'm hoping I'm going to love this. This is The Starlight C by Erin Morgenstern. I absolutely love The Night Circus, and I have a feeling I'm really going to like this one. I bought this on my birthday in 2021, and now I just really want to get to this. And it's kind of one of those books that I'm like iffy about, but I was iffy about The Night Circus too, and I ended up loving that, so I do want to get to this one. This is just another book that is so beloved on YouTube and is like one of everyone's favorites, or everyone's at least read it. So I've owned it like since it came out. I love it, and I own both of them, but I'm only putting this one on because I don't want to like overexert myself. But I would like to finally get to this because I think I'm gonna like it. I just have to pick it up. The next two are just books that I really wanted to read 2 years ago and never did. So first up we have Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. This was huge in 2020. Everyone was picking this up. It was one of everyone's like favorite stories, and obviously it was like very buzzed about. I obviously bought it and then never read it, and I do really want to read it. I think I started it at some point like on ebook and then ended up buying the physical copy of it, and now it is just sat there. Next up, we have The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. Basically, I read The Mothers in 2020 when this one came out, and everyone was talking about this one and how good it is. And I don't know if I was just like overly intimidated or what, but I just ended up never picking this one up, and I regret not. So I'm hoping I will finally get to this one this year. Next up, we have TheOne by John Mars. This took forever for me to like hunt down. At the time that I wanted to read this, I wasn't really buying books, but I could not find this anywhere. So I decided to finally just pick it up and buy it because I really wanted to read it. I love the premise of this. It's a dating app that literally is just based off of your DNA and who your soulmate should scientifically be. And that sounds fascinating to me. And yet I've never read it. So 2022 is the year. Next up, it's a case of 1, loving the first book I read from an author, and 2, this being on so many TBRs in 2021 and me still not reading it. And that is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I absolutely loved Circe so much, and I think I'm really gonna love this, but for some reason I've just never picked it up because I guess I'm intimidated. I don't know. Probably because when I first read Circe, it was a library book and I had like a time limit. I don't have a time limit for this one, but now I'm setting myself one. This was a 2020 most anticipated that I never got to. This is Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. I absolutely loved Wilder Girls, and I think the main reason I didn't pick this up is that I only heard meh reviews about it, so I didn't feel super interested in picking it up. But I also felt like I heard horrible reviews of Wilder Girls, and I still picked that one up, so I don't really know what the difference is here. But probably because the people that had also loved Wilder Girls didn't love this one, but I do just want to read it and form an opinion. Then we have Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This was one that was really highly talked about in 2020. I got it for Christmas in 2020 and then never picked it up. I kind of forgot that I owned it. It doesn't look like it will take me that long. It's just a matter of actually picking it up. It's about a coffee shop where you can time travel, but you have to return before your coffee gets cold. And I think that sounds really great. It's a translated work. I don't read a lot of translated, so I do want to get to this. A highly talked about book. This is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I don't know why I haven't read this yet. I want to so badly. It sounds amazing, and I've just heard such good things, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up. It's like frustrating me with some of these books, so I'm hoping this year will be my year. I was so excited when The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel came out, and yet I never picked it up. Station 11 is one of my all-time favorite books. She's got a new one coming out this year, and I still have yet to read this. I have absolutely no idea what this is about still 2 years later, but I still really want to get to it this year because I just feel it deserves to be read. The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I remember when this was being talked about and how interested I was about this, and how there's like this witch where the townspeople like leave their babies in the woods so that she can feed them sunlight for some reason, and then one accidentally gets fed moonlight, and like the consequences. This sounds incredible. It's a middle grade. I don't read a lot of middle grade, but this has continually called to me, so I'm really hoping this year is my year. Then we have The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I love If We Were Villains, but yet I have never read what people claim If We Were Villains was ripping off. So I would love to figure that out. I'm super excited about this. I love dark academia, but yet again, I think it's just a matter of intimidation and me just getting over that and picking it up. Then we have Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo. I heard, I think Emma from Drinking by My Shelf talk about this like a couple times, and I was immediately drawn to it. I don't remember what it's about, but every time I look at it on my shelf, I'm like, why haven't you read that? It won the Booker Prize in 2019, and I just want to experience it. So I'm really not sure why I haven't picked this up yet. It's just a matter of like intimidation, I think, in a lot of this, which is really annoying. I do want to finish Ruth Ware's Backlist in this year. I only have like 2 left, and then she's got a new one coming out, but I'm putting on this list In a Dark Dark Wood. This was Ruth Ware's first, this was her debut, and it has definitely mixed reviews from what I've heard, and I have mixed feelings about Ruth Ware's works. Some I love, some I'm like, I hated that, so I do want to see where I stand with this one. Then the last 4 are 2021 releases that I just I think I like bought almost all at once, and I just really want to read We Have Such a Quiet Place by Megan Miranda. I'm not sure why this calls to me as much as it does, just because it feels like it's going to be a normal domestic thriller, but I want to read this one really badly. Like when I look at it, I'm like, ooh, I want to get to you. So hoping I do. In the same vein, we have Local Woman Missing by Mary Kupica. I've heard really good things about this one. Yet again, Local Woman Missing, and I am looking forward to this. I don't know, I do love me a domestic thriller, and I feel like I haven't actually read one in a hot minute, so I'm hoping these two quench that thirst. Then we have the Final Girls support group. I would love to just get to all of the Grady Hendrix on my TBR this year, like do a vlog and just knock it all out. This is the one that won the horror for best horror Goodreads this year, and everyone was talking about this one this year, and I was super excited to read it, and then I never did, and now I regret it, so I'm hoping I do it this year. And finally, the one I like the most, the one I have to read this year is In My Dreams I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. If I don't read this in this year, if I don't read this in the next like 2 months, I'm gonna be annoyed with myself. Hell, by the end of this month. I want to read this so badly. Kayla has sold this in such a way that I'm like, I'm going to love that. I can feel it in my bones. So I just gotta pick it up. And those, I believe, are all of the 22 books I would like to read in 2022. I will be back again next year to see if I did it. And I'm just hoping that I do. I feel like I'm gonna put them all in one place, so I probably won't be too surprised by next year's video. But I wanna like actually read them. I don't wanna just make this video and then immediately forget. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But please let me know what book you really wanna read in 2022. But thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, all the normal stuff, and I will see you all again really soon. Bye.